not use Dawn or dish detergent as your surfactant. You are using bleach. You're using SH. I'm going to show you something real quick. Come on, people. I know you watch YouTube gurus. They're doing the cheap ass cosmology. On the
Can you hear me now? Patrick, you're the only guy on here, I think. Can you hear me now? Okay. Sorry, man. I got too much Bluetooth stuff going on and it was connected to some speaker or something. Um, so my garage is open. I'm glad I came out here. I'm not gonna make a crazy long live again. I got some shit to do, but someone commented and I kind of am surprised I haven't made a video on it yet. Oh, you're cool. Here's some F13 gutter grenade. You should definitely invest in this. PressureTech.com. I am not endorsed or paid by this website. And then a lemonator. This is what you use as your surfactant. This is what takes the place of Dawn. It should never have taken the place of Dawn because you should never use Dawn as your surfactant, ever. So I know you guys probably, I don't want to call out, you know what, I'm going to call him out. Dan's Daily Vlog. That guy, I'm not going to lie. I watched him when I very first started power washing and soft washing, but that guy is doing it wrong. He's charging way too cheap. And from my understandings, he doesn't really do it anymore. He does it like as a charity thing. But listen, he uses Dawn, and he's a jagoff for that. It says clearly on the thing, do not add bleach. And there's reasons for that. Do not add bleach on this soap. Just don't add bleach. They don't work together. They don't work correctly. Um, there's just a lot of negatives to it, man. So just don't do it. Like, why? Why do it? Are you really saving that much money? Like, do it right. Get the eliminator. And the the best thing about the eliminator is not just a soap. That stuff masks the whole set of bleach, so you're not stinking like a big pool. And I mean, it's still the same chemicals, but you're not breathing bleach. And the eliminator enhances the strength of the bleach. So it's actually a stronger mix. Like you can use less SH or get better results with a lesser amount. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I get a little frustrated because there's people that post how to do house washing and all this stuff, and they're using Dawn. You're using Dawn, Riley, or are you using a Eliminator? Well, I get frustrated because these are serious chemicals. Like this is strong stuff we're working with. Like it's really strong stuff. And I think people just take it for granted and they're just like spraying it around and they're like, I'm making some money. Oh, good. That's good to hear, Riley. I'm making this money. I'm gonna spray stuff, and it's not like these are people's homes you're spraying. There's plants around. There could be animals around. There's all sorts of stuff. There could be kids. you could screw yourself, you could ruin stuff. You can there's definitely the possibility for failure. So you always have to be prepared for the possibility of failure and prepare for that and do everything you can to prevent that. And little things like using proper surfactant is one of them. And it irritates me when people I mean, it's blatantly on the label, do not use with bleach. And this guy has how many followers? A ridiculous amount, probably like 4,000 or something. And it's a bunch of new guys trying to get into this, and they see him making it look so easy and quick, and phew, and they're taking his word for everything like he's some god, some master soft washer. And so now he's got a bunch of people out here spraying bleach and Dawn on houses. It's like, oh, so it irritates me because I'd be pissed if something happened to anyone or someone's house. It could happen. I'll briefly go into this. When I first started washing houses, you catch a house on fire. You can these chemicals are strong and they're conductors, and you can come across a house with a bad GFIC, the electrical outlet, and catch that shit on fire, short it out, melt it. Smoke will literally bellow out of the little holes, and you'll think the house is about to catch on fire because it is. And you're racing into this is a true story, racing into a customer's house, shutting off their circuit break. It's a true story. I popped one of them when I first started. I had to race into their house, run down their basement, find their circuit breaker. They're like, "What's going on?" I'm freaking out, dude. I thought I just fucked my whole life up and his. And it was good. I shut the whole breaker off. I'm like panicking, calming down. Took the thing off. All it was the thing that had to be replaced, the GFIC. But shit could have really hit the fan. And you got guys on YouTube just telling people, just go on and fucking spray some shit, man. Just finger it out. Just go just go get a job, mix a big old bucket of bleach and start spraying shit with Dawn. And don't cover outlets and aluminum schluminum. Just wash the aluminum, man. So yeah, I think that's it. Um, yeah, Steve, I've gone live a couple times. It's just kind of easier right now. So my my girl and kids are gone for the weekend, so I kind of got some more free time. So real quick before I sign off, anybody got any questions or anything you want to talk about? Make sure nobody asked anything. I got to scroll through all two comments. Okay, I think we're good. Have you by chance tried the Apple Wash yet? Negative. I'm actually uneducated on this stuff. What are you talking about? I want to know. I want to know. I want to know on the insider secrets, man. Is it supposed to smell like apples or something? Basically a lemonator, but apple later. Do you need workers' compensation for your employees? Do you need it? No. Should you have it? Yes. But you don't need it. Like, it's kind of a weird question. It's like asking, can I go to the bathroom or may I go to the bathroom? If we're going that route. Pretty sure it's in pressure tank, but yeah, Apple Senate. I thought I think there's stuff that's like there's simple cherry. There's a cherry. I never heard of the apple though. But the cherry, I haven't. I'm pretty sure it's the same stuff as the eliminator, but I'm pretty sure the eliminator is the top dog. I haven't heard of anything that does better. So how do you how do you have for insurance? How do I have, how do you have, how do I have insurance? I don't know. Who? Oh, who is my insurance? It's a weird name. But I kind of explained this in my other video. I go to there's you can go to certain banks offer insurance. It's not really the bank, but they like are in, they know of a bunch of different insurance agencies and they're able to compare a bunch of different rates and give you the best rate. I'm sure it's not the best, but the best. That's what I did. I didn't do much homework on searching for insurance. I thought that was kind of cool when he offered it because we compared a bunch of rates and I took the cheapest one. And I had like no extra money, man. I just needed some type of insurance to say I had insurance and I was paying like 50 a month or something. And then I ended up dropping that insurance company and getting a different insurance policy. And now it's like a little over 100 a month, but I don't, it's not even that good. It's like, it's not even a million in coverage and it doesn't like cover me, but 3 stories high and I don't have any employees listed or anything. So I'm actually going there tomorrow and I'm investing into insurance because I'm getting a lot of commercial requests and it would really help sell the job if I can include my insurance policy in the proposal because when I send them a proposal, I send them an introduction of the company, before and after photos, a list of testimonials, the proposal, and then a closing statement. And if I could throw that insurance policy in there, like a big $1 million insurance policy and everybody's covered, it would seal the deal every time, I'm sure. What business structure is? Steve, I want to be honest, man. You're asking a lot of questions that I'm probably not the best person to ask. So I really think the LLC and sole proprietorship whole situation is, this is an opinion of mine. I think it's a little overrated. Me personally, I'm not going LLC anytime soon. I don't think. I'm probably just going to sole proprietor it for a little while. I actually have a friend who owns a big tree service. They got 2 different crews, full-time crews, and they're still sole proprietor. I don't know the reason behind it, but I mean, from when I talk to people who know about this stuff, a lot of them seem to express that that stuff doesn't matter. But then you have another group of people who say it matters a whole bunch and you should go LLC as soon as possible. It's something to do with liabilities and like in the event of getting sued, is from my understanding. So I probably know just as much as you. So I might not be the best guy to ask that type of stuff. When do you plan on getting a second truck up and running, Jobs? Well, I got two. I got the van and the truck. And the van's actually nicer than the truck. But I use the truck because the truck's got the power washer and everything, um, mounted into it. And I'm having trouble with employees. So I mean, I don't even have enough employees to run that truck, right? They're the other van. But if I had the employees, I'd be running both vehicles right now. And then we'd only be like a week out in scheduling. But right now we're probably 2 weeks. LLC is a very good to look into. YouTube LLC plus your state. All right, Riley. Thanks for the input. I it's something I've been considering. I, it's just more legal stuff and stuff that I need to look into that what's the best way to put this? Doesn't seem to be a problem for me yet. It's not like an issue yet, but it might be one of those things like, do you really want to wait till it's an issue? What is the mandatory equipment to start aside? Just, are you asking what is the mandatory equipment to start with for a power washing company? Am I reading into this too much? Okay, that's a good question. I really think it is a good question. Um, so last year I was like I was investment crazy, and every time I'd come up an extra $1,000, I was boom investing it back into the business. Boom. I mean, I was never ahead more than $1,000. It sucked. Um, but it kind of but it was helpful too. So I think okay, I want to try to say this as simple and brief as possible. So I think a 4 gallon per minute power washer is super ideal. You're gonna be able to do house washing and everything. If you think you can afford a 5.5 gallon, that's only gonna probably make your house washing that much faster. But you got to keep in mind you have to set up a buffer tank. You have to set up a buffer tank for anything over 4 gallons a minute, or else you're gonna run the risk of having your machine run dry, or the pump's gonna run weak. You know what I'm saying? The pump's not going to be able to be fed. I run a 4 gallon per minute and I still have a buffer tank because I come across homes sometimes that have a low flow. It's very rare, but in the event, the buffer tank's there. And it's just nice to have. I really like having the buffer tank now. So I'd say a 4 gallon per minute machine just gets you a little direct drive. They're like $1,000. I got the Simpson 4200 PSI 4 gallon per minute machine. I bought it brand new from Pressure Washer Direct. And the badass thing is that pump comes with a 2-year warranty. So if it breaks, they fix it. And I put it to the test. I blew mine last year and they fixed it at the end of the year. They gave me a whole brand new pump to start the season off with. And I'm curious, I got to check with them, but I'm curious to see if now I have a brand new 2-year warranty on that pump because it's a brand new pump, but it might not work out like that. It might be only a 2-year warranty from purchase date. So you get your 4 gallon per minute power washer direct drive. That's probably the cheapest route you're going to be able to go, and you're still going to make killer amounts of money. And then you can always upgrade when you start getting the jobs coming in. And if it turns out to not be for you, then at least you didn't invest a bunch of money in some crazy power washer. Um, just get the cheapest stuff. Honestly, that's what I got. I got a General reel, still working fine. The little clip to lock it in place, I had an issue with it, but I just greased it up and fixed it. My handle's coming a little loose, but that's an easy fix. Um, I got I got the cheaper type of hose. It's like Simpson hose, 150 foot. So I got the power wash hose. Um, I got my gun, the wand. I'm pretty sure I just used the same gun that it came with, actually. Yeah, I do, actually. I went through a phase where I was trying to buy special guns and stuff, and none of that stuff really matters. So your power washer wand that it comes with is fine. You will have to get an Adams downstream injector, 2 to 3 gallons per minute from Pressure Tech, and put it on the power washer. Um, and I might make a video on how I did that because I kind of had to tinker with it a little bit. Um, put it on the power washer because the what am I trying to say? The hose length, the downstream injector won't draw chemical any more than 50 feet of hose, the downstream injector that the power washer comes with. So you have to upgrade to the Adams downstream injector and it'll pull through 150 feet of hose. I advise not to go with the X-Jet. Some people recommend that, but the X-Jet is just more room for error, man. I remember my first time with the X-Jet, I spilt the whole bucket of SH right in their yard. So there's a huge dead spot, and then it gets better. And then instead of shutting there's a little valve to like shut it off so the chemical stops drawing. Instead of doing that, I just pulled the hose off the gun and set the hose down and then continued to spray the house. What happened was the suction, it held that draw on the from the hose. It held the draw, so I pulled it off the gun and set it on the ground, and it continued to siphon all that chemical out onto their yard. So I've technically spilt the bucket twice. Bunch of bullshit. Had to tear up their yard and resod it. Basically, I just raked up all that dead grass till it was dirt and then laid down a lawn repair kit and fixed it, and they were happy. It was embarrassing though. And then, but yeah, and then with the X-Jet, you got these little proportioner things that like proportion out the chemical, and they're really easy to lose, and you end up losing one. Like you end up getting your mix down right, and you're like, okay, that's the mix I got to make for this proportion, and then you lose it, and then you're like doing the math in your head, and you're like, damn it, so now I got to use this much mix, so then it's the same. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's a pain in the ass. But I can see the XJet being beneficial for like concrete cleaning and stuff and whatever. But honestly, what I use is a little pump up sprayer, a 2 gallon pump up sprayer. A 2 gallon pump up sprayer is a must for any power washer starting up. You're going to want that. So, in summary, I know I'm kind of rambling. In summary, a 4 gallon per minute machine just gets you a whole kit, caboodle, Simpson 4 gallon per minute, 4,200 psi. It's like $1,000. It's the cheapest route you're going to be able to go. Just a general or generic, I think it's general hose reel, Simpson hose. Use the same gun and wand. Get your J rod, so the nozzles. Upgrade your downstream injector, and get some hoses. Yeah, XJet does, Riley. I actually was considering grabbing that, but it was like so expensive. I was like, it's all the same shit. The XJet thing they might have like formulated it a little better so it shoots higher or something, but it's not worth the money to me. I still have my XJet sitting there, but it's got the little piece where you can attach the hose right on the nozzle, and then there's the one you're talking about where it's made for downstreaming. I actually tried to see if I could like cap the hole off so it was just a downstream thing, but it didn't work the same for whatever reason. Yeah, Steve, yeah, man, I don't know where you're at on things, but if you ever need to contact me directly, I'm down to help. You know, I'm 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 convinced I could advise you on exactly what you need and what you don't need to start off a business, because I made a lot of careless extra purchases, and you don't need to do all that. You really don't. What brand pump do you have? So yeah, like I said, it's you guys have to know of the machine if you've been searching power washers at all. It's the Simpson, the Honda GX 390 with the Simpson. It says Simpson on it. So what pump is it? It's like the triple A. It's it's not a great pump. It's a direct drive, but it's still 4 gallons a minute. You know what I'm saying? So if you can get a season out of it, that's all you need. And there's a 2-year warranty with it, so you'll get a new one if you blow it. It might. I don't know if it's an AR pump. AR pumps are nice, from my understanding. You guys want me to look? I'll look real quick. Why not? It's not like I. Damn, I still left my garage open. I started this video saying I gotta close my garage. Still left it open. It's like too dark. Yeah, it's a little too dark, man. I need like a flashlight. I don't think I have a flashlight. So yeah, then I got this surface cleaner. But dude, be careful buying a surface cleaner. I really, if I could do it over, if I could do it over again, I would have just bought some cheapy little surface cleaner you can like stick at the end of your wand or whatever, like a little one. I would just go that route. For the amount of surface cleaning I do, probably would have been better. But whatever, I got it. It was like, I think those things are like 300 something bucks. And it actually works badass with the 4 gallons a minute. It's an 18-inch general surface cleaner. What else? What else? Keep me entertained, y'all. I'll keep rolling with this live. Do you need special equipment to clean a roof? Absolutely. I mean, I guess you don't technically, but you. I'm gonna sum this up. With a power washer, it's ideal for house washing because if finding a spot to sit so I'm not all over the place. It's ideal for house washing because of the ratio. So it's like a 9-to-1 ratio when it's coming out of the pump or when it's being downstream. With roof cleaning, you need to hit it with a super strong mix, and you're just never going to get that with downstreaming, even if you were to downstream straight SH. So you'll need there's different types of pumps you can use for roof cleaning, whether it be um, air diaphragm or like the 12-volt pumps or whatever. And it applies the chemical straight on, or however you mix it, it'll apply it straight onto it. So then you'll have like a big tank with the chem and then a big tank with water. And so you just rinse, or you spray the chem and then you rinse it with the water. There's some cool videos out there about roof cleaning, so I'm sure you could, if you're interested in it, there's some stuff. Is that GP surface cleaner holding up well? Looking to pick one up soon. Have been using the ones that attach to the one, and they last 2 jobs or so. Damn, they're that crappy. I figured they'd last a little longer than that, but yeah, dude, this thing's worth the money. Hell yeah. Um, I've cleaned 3 Burger Kings twice with that thing. And then I've been doing little residential stuff with it. I have a 4-gallon per minute 4200 Comet pump and looked into the Adams downstream, but the 4-gallon per minute is only rated for 3. So yeah, mountain sounds. I'm not sure where you saw that, to be honest with you, but so I have the same specs as the machine you're talking about, and what I got was the Adams downstream injector, and you actually want to get the 2 to 3 gallon per minute injector, because what that does is the orifice is bigger. Yes, the orifice is bigger. So when you're running, I imagine you're running 150 feet of hose. I'm assuming it's just when you're doing this professionally and out of, it's having um, a system mounted on a hose reel is really nice. But you can pull around a power washer and shit if you really want to. Um, but I suggest after your first job or two, getting a hose reel. So yeah, you want to get the 2 to 3 gallon per minute downstream injector for your 4-gallon per minute machine. I hope that helps because I learned the hard way with that one too. Dropping door hangers off and leaving or knocking on doors and trying to talk to potential customers. It's 2018, man. And nobody got time to be knocking on doors unless you're brainwashed by religion. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. It's funny though, because I don't live in a particularly good area. It's not bad. I don't like to like act like I'm in the ghetto or anything, but there is like some crime and stuff in this area. And I had it was just like a month ago. There was 2 really sweet girls that came knocking on my door, trying to convince me to join their church and they'll pick me up and all this stuff. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, damn, this church has these 2 girls volunteering to walk around my town, which is not a great town, on a Sunday for free, going knocking on doors, talking to people. It just blew my mind. But the thing what I'm trying to get at is people don't like to be bothered, man. It's 2018. Like back in the day, like people would knock on the door and invite neighbors in the house and stuff. But whoa, lost my lights. People would like knock on the door, invite people in, but like now when people knock on the door, it's like you're like hiding in your house, you're like peeking out windows, like who the hell is that? What the hell? Yeah, just drop them door hangers off, man. You ain't got time to be knocking on doors. You're gonna have a bad time, in my opinion. Tell the story of how you got your first customer and what your first job was like. Okay, so my first my first power wash customer, I'm assuming, um, it was kind of a mess. My first power wash customer. So my first house wash, attempted to wash my aunt's house. It was a white house, green stuff covered all over. It was actually my aunt's boyfriend's house, and then he passed away, and she needed it washed. Um, and I was trying to downstream. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was using store-bought bleach, and it just wasn't strong enough. It was like the 8.5%, and I just ended up blasting it all off with like a white tip, just everything you're not supposed to do. And somehow in my head, I got it twisted where I was like, I figured it out. I know what I did wrong. And so I already had my window, I already had my business set up on Google and stuff, and I'm cleaning windows and stuff like for storefronts. And I invested in the power washer, so I was gonna do window cleaning and power washing. And a real nice guy by the name of, well, it doesn't really matter what his name was, but he hired me to the house to do a house wash. It was, I think it was 300 and it was either $300 or $320. And um, I went there and my downstream injector wasn't working. It took me a few jobs before I actually figured out how to get this damn downstream injector to work. So don't get it twisted. It's not as easy as it might sound unless you're like really prepared. But so I couldn't get the downstream injector to work. And I ended up telling him I had an issue with my equipment and I had to leave and come back some other day. I think it was the next day. Came back, still having issues. And eventually and then I was like, I just can't, it's not working. I'm sorry. There's an issue. I just got to order a part. And so I told him I'd be back in like a week or two. And I ordered an X-Jet. And then I got it to work. So I was using the X-Jet because I just couldn't figure out the downstreaming. And this was one of the houses that I almost caught on fire. I'm using the X-Jet, spraying the front porch, and then smoke's bellowing out of the socket, and I'm freaking the fuck out. And he was really calm, and he said it was because there's some weird wiring where his outdoor pond was hooked up to that outlet, and it was his fault, thank God. But it was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. I was there 4 or 5 times, man, and it was I was wasting SH and shit wasn't working. Oh, it gives me anxiety to think about it. Um, so yeah, am I using so that's that. So I ended up using the XJet and I used that for a while, and then I got confident and figured out my downstream injector. But it was humble beginnings, man. Everything wasn't all cake and icing. Are you using a factory unloader? I just use the unloader. My pump's a fully plumbed pump, so the unloader's on there, the downstream injector's on there. I just turn that unloader all the way, and yeah. The thing that sucks, the thing that I'll be upfront that sucks about my power washer is it's direct drive, and so with these types, if you're not holding down the trigger gun, if you're not spraying, it's actually bad for the pump because that water sits in there and then it starts getting hot. So like if you're not on that trigger, like I'm always spraying it to relieve it like every 5 seconds if I'm done. How are you bidding on those Burger Kings or more commercial properties? I've actually discontinued the Burger Kings, and I'll explain why. For one, I have a cold water power washer. Two, I wasn't very educated in surface cleaning. I was just using SH and then cleaning, and I tried downstreaming SH onto the cement, and it wasn't strong enough. And then I realized I needed to use my X-Jet or a pump up sprayer, and then it helped lift the dirt up, but not, it helped. And then I had cars driving around me because I'm doing it in the middle of the day. There was gum and grease. I didn't have a degreaser, so there was like gum and we're going around with a red tip, popping all of it off. And I later found out that actually a red tip on concrete is very dangerous because concrete can become etched. Luckily, this concrete was pretty well settled, so there wasn't any damage, but not noticeable at least. Um, but I've stopped them, and I encourage you guys to not chase after these commercial jobs yet until you've really dived into residential work, because commercial is a whole other monster. They don't like to pay. They pay way lower than what you might think the job's worth, and it's because they want frequency cleanings, like every quarterly or biannually. Um, and they offer, they offer like a chain. Like I had three Burger Kings within a 20-mile radius or something. Um, so it was like $250 or something to power wash these Burger Kings. And also I was competing with another company. And I talked to, well, what happened was I had this other company that I was subcontracting work out to, and then we had a falling out because he was stealing my clients. And I had already had him bid on those Burger King because I was gonna just have him do it. So I had put the bid in, the guy accepted it, and I just bidded it whatever the subcontractor quoted it at, because he told me what he would do it for, and then I told the Burger King guy. And we had the falling out, and I'm like, fuck, now I got to do this shit. So I went and bought the surface cleaner, and I did it, and I was there all day, hating my life, paying an employee. I made no money. I lost money. It was bad. Then I did it again by myself. It was still bad. And what I think in my head, at least, what it has to do with is just pour. I have a 4 gallon per minute machine. You just can't move that fast with it. I mean, you can, but I feel like an 8 gallon per minute machine would be twice as fast. Also, hot water would help. And I think just having more high end commercial type equipment would really make these jobs make more sense. And then, you kind of start seeing the big money come in, because you're getting these jobs, 250, 300 or something to surface clean them. You have this big, awesome equipment. You can probably get in and out of there in an hour, and you're doing them like all night. You're doing big chains, and they're on a repetition calendar. There can be money in it, but don't like chase after it with a 4 gallon per minute cold water machine. Just be patient. It'll come your way. My factory downstream rig doesn't seem like it draws much chemical at all. Yeah, probably don't. But there's some factors that could be in place. It could be I guarantee. I If you get a chance, answer me. Tell me how much hose you got. Tell me how much hose length you're running. What are major do nots in the power washing business? Truck or van for starting off? Hey, personal preference, really. I enjoy the truck. I just like throwing stuff back there and having the stuff mounted and not enclosed. It's personal preference. I don't know if I could really give you an answer on the truck or van for starting off. Personal preference. What are major do nots in the power washing business? Mine is a direct drive, and it sounds like it's the same as yours. It just doesn't draw much. So yeah, man, it's probably just your downstream's a piece of shit. Just go on and get that Adams. Just go on and take a minute and go order it on Pressure Tech right now. 2 to 3 gallon per minute. We'll probably still be here. We'll be waiting for you. It'll help you stop pulling your hair out your head. Um, I like this Steve guy asking the questions. He's got some solid questions. What are some major do nots? Steve, how far are you along in your business? Are you just starting off? Are you just kind of entertaining the idea? Are you making some investments, or where are you at? You got a business and you're looking for an add-on service? Vcash message retracted. I'm saving up to get started. Okay, cool. Very respectable. Good for you. Good for you, man. You're light years ahead of the game. There's a lot of people out there that don't realize there's a better way of life, and entrepreneurship is an excellent route to take, and you're going to make a lot of money, and good for you. Some major do nots in the power washing business, I would say, is Don't take on jobs you don't feel comfortable taking on. Keep it honest. Don't try to act like Mr. Know-it-all. I had to let go of a lot of work starting off because people would contact me for deck washing or oxidation removal on gutters, and I just didn't know how to do it at the time. And um, after taking on a job or two and not knowing what you're doing and telling a customer, I'm sorry, I can't do this, and humiliating yourself and wasting money, you'll realize it's a lot better to just walk away from stuff you don't feel comfortable doing and focusing on finding people you can satisfy and getting tons of great feedback from happy customers. Um, Man, there's a lot of do nots. I'd say do not put Dawn in your house wash mix. Here's a thing to consider, to realize, which I kind of stress on a lot, is sodium hydrochloride, hydrochloride, SH it's such a monster. It's like I feel like when I'm working with it or pouring it in a bucket, it's like in my head I pretend it's like lava or like a plague or something. It's very dangerous, strong stuff, and don't take it for granted, I guess. You don't want to get all crazy and just like, just take your time, do one wall at a time until you get comfortable enough to start bouncing between two sides of the house and three sides of the house and four sides of the house. Just take it slow. Don't don't just start doing house washing until you're ready, man. Until you're sure your chemical is coming out of your downstream injector. If you can make sure that your chemical is coming out of your downstream injector, because I think a lot of guys on YouTube just talk like all you do is hook up the downstream injector and spray and hey, hey, hey. But there's a lot of factors that go into it. Sometimes the downstream injector just doesn't work. Like as Mountain Sounds was talking about, his just kind of sucks. It seems like he has a poor downstream injector. It is what it is. So he's got to upgrade the injector. Um, the wrong length of hose can affect your downstream injector. So if make sure that downstream injector is working and the soap is applying. And then yes, once you get your soap applying, it's actually not a hard job. But you really have to make sure you're rinsing. Rinsing is a huge thing. If you don't rinse this SH off, you're going to get calls back and you could potentially damage a lot of stuff. All right, let me catch up on some stuff. I'm sure you have been over this before, but for the average house wash, what mix do you use? Like what percent of SH, water, if any, and eliminator? So yeah, Patrick, I have been over it a couple of times in my previous videos, and it kind of plays off what I was just talking about. The downstream injector, if working properly, is about a 9-to-1 ratio, if I'm not mistaken. So I've broke it down and stuff before, but I don't really remember what I'm trying to explain to you right now. Anyway, what I found to be the most, and it's also just trial and error too. And this is my setup, so don't take my word for it and hope that it just works in your setup. This will only work if all of the factors are in line. My setup with 150 foot of hose and a 4 gallon per minute machine with my downstream injector, the 9-to-1 ratio. Uh, I use I use a 5 gallon bucket, and I use 2 gallons of SH, the 12.5% SH, 2 gallons of water, and like 5 ounces of eliminator. The eliminator direction says you only need 1 ounce of eliminator per gallon of mix. I just throw in an extra ounce because who doesn't like lemons, man? It just smells a little more lemony. You really, really mash the scent. A little more sudsy, nothing wrong with it. So yeah, and that's it. It's a simple mix, man. That's really it. Um, and if you're skilled like myself, you can use one bucket for a whole house. But don't beat yourself up if you go through 2 or 3 buckets. Sometimes it's just is what it is. But you'll start realizing you probably don't need to apply as much SH as you might be thinking in your head when you first start. PSI for surface cleaner. For driveways, I have a 4200 PSI at 4 gallons per minute machine. Yeah, man, you're good. That's a plenty. I've been told, I mean, I don't know because I don't have a machine, but I've been told there's guys surface cleaning with 2500 PSIs and stuff. It's no problem. Um, so yeah, that's the machine I got. It's I think it's where you get your PSI is the tips though. So um, kind of research your tips. There's some these stores where you buy the stuff from, there's some really helpful people. If you actually call or email or whatever and talk to them, they'll help you out. So explain the equipment you have, tell them what you want to do, and they'll get you set up with the right tips. Because this stuff, it's confusing. Especially, I mean, it's still confusing to me sometimes. I'm like, 0.004, oh, what kind of tip is that? You know, there's, we're almost built in the day, man. So yeah, PSI for surface cleaner. Um, yeah, when I'm searching a surface cleaner to buy, I'll just like, yeah, you probably should just call them and see, have them help you out, man. What if you run into a go green type of customer that doesn't want bleach in their home? Tell them sorry. I mean, honestly, I never ran into one. Um, I've had people ask me if this stuff's safe for their plants, if it's going to kill their plants. I tell them, yeah, it's fine. It's not going to do anything. The worst that could happen is we can spot, you get some spotting on your leaves, but it's not it's not going to happen. I mean, the worst that could happen is you could kill their plants, but you would have to like pretty much pour a whole bucket of SH on their plants because you're it's strong stuff, but you're rinsing the house with a diluted mix 9-to-1, and then you also diluted the mix in your bucket because we made the mix 50-50 SH and water. So what I was trying to get at is the worst that's happened for me is poor rinsing. So when I'm spraying a house, some of that spray might hit some leaves on a plant, and I didn't rinse it well enough, and now there's little bleach spots in their leaves. So it didn't kill the plant, but it caused bleach spotting on the leaves, and it's just from poor rinsing. And that only happened when I first started. Um, don't happen no more. It's not. Ooh, almost dropped my phone. It's not. It's not nothing to keep rinsing. What do you use for driveways? SH and a degreaser? Yes, sir. That's what you should use. Um, yeah, the SH helps lift that stuff up, brighten stuff up, and a degreaser to help get that grease off mine. So I've been hearing really good things about EBC. It's an environmental bio cleaner. Might be worth giving a shot. I'm probably going to give it a shot here soon. Um, but yeah, so you guys heard my story about the Burger Kings that I did. That's really the only big surface cleaning jobs I've done, and I never even used a degreaser on those jobs because I was uneducated. I didn't know what I was really doing. But he was still happy because I was there forever, like not gonna stop until it was done right. But I probably made it a lot harder on myself than it needed to be. Can you use SH on all types of siding on a house? That's a great question, Steve. The answer is absolutely not. Um, the answer is you should really try to stick with just using it on vinyl. And I mean, it could be like a vinyl slash brick or vinyl slash stucco or vinyl slash stone. But what you really are trying to avoid is aluminum. When I have when someone with aluminum siding asks me to do their siding, I just tell them no, just instantly, just straight up, no, we don't do it. And I mean, I don't say that. What I do is I tell them, okay, we don't actually wash aluminum siding due to the fact that aluminum siding is usually always already in an oxidation state, and the chemicals we use to do house washing will just speed that process up, And I wouldn't feel right washing your house and you being happy with it, and then down the road realizing you need a paint job because everything's all oxidized and messed up. You can wash aluminum siding, but it's a task that nobody really wants to do. Um, you have to remove the oxidation off the siding, kind of like cleaning gutters. And I highly doubt anyone's going to pay for it. Maybe if someone's smoking crack, but I mean, it's just not realistic. It would be such an expensive job. And for what? Some shitty aluminum painting siding? Just get new siding, dude. Yeah. So I tell them the only way we would ever wash the siding is to prep it for paint. But I'm actually starting to think against that because the siding, I don't think it's ready to be painted until the oxidation is removed. So it's actually another thing that I'm actually going to be looking into that I just kind of started thinking about lately. Um, because if you wash the siding and it's still in that oxidation phase, it's really not ready to be painted, from my understanding. I could be wrong. I gotta get my phone on the charger. What else? What else? What else? So what about when you get to their gutters? Aren't they aluminum? And most have rust spots that I see. So that's a good question. Um, yeah, the gutters you just wash. You just wash right along with the house wash. You just spray it just like it's siding. And hang on, I'm trying to find my charger. This video is not like upside down or anything, is it? I feel like someone would have told me that already if it was. But I'm definitely holding my phone upside down. So yeah, those gutters, let me get a light on. This is fun, man. I'm glad like a following is kind of built up and we can actually do live and like people can engage with conversation and talking, like, because I'm getting really bored in this house. I've done all the work I can do, and it's honestly not healthy to just work like crazy like I do. It's really not. Sorry, I'm getting my phone plugged in. um, where was I? So yeah, the gutters, you're gonna have that green gunk, nasty stuff on them, and I like to set the expectations for my clients whenever I do a house wash. So if I see like weird black striping on the gutters, a lot of the times it's just like dirt runoff and stuff from the gutters spilling over. 9 times out of 10 of it is. And I say that to my customers. 9 times out of 10, it'll come right off with the house wash and your gutters will look great. But there is an occasion where there's oxidation setting into the gutters and it's causing almost that tiger stripe look. And that's actually a separate job. It's a whole nother job in itself, or I'll say it's a whole nother monster in itself. We actually have to do an oxidation removal process, and we have to work in very small sections at a time to ensure that nothing else, that we don't strip or mess up anything else on your house. So it's a very tedious, careful job. Um, but if we get there, if we come across it and then we need to do oxidation removal, we can cross that bridge when we get there. I'll give you an estimate for it when we get there. But yeah, but oxidation removal, it's a nice little upcharge to have, and it's not hard to do. You just got to be careful and make sure you keep everything rinsed and don't ever spray it. Just apply it with like either a rag or a brush and do little sections at a time. And rust, I mean, if you get like a rust remover, those rust removers are badass. You can get rust removed pretty easily. Help make some customers happy. I always carry a bottle of some rust remover in my truck. If I come across like a weird rust spot that's easy to get, I take it off for them. And then when I do the walk around, I'll just be like, hey, I just want to let you know I did a quick little rust removal there for you. Oh my God, thank you. All right, so what do we use to clean the green stuff on gutters? And is there any special equipment needed to clean gutters? So yeah, Steve, I think I just answered that one coincidentally because I was asking mountain suds. If I didn't, let me know. Yeah, I appreciate your answer, man. So we're obviously talking about a different chemical for the oxidation removal. Do you need any special equipment or chemicals for graffiti removal? Um, Let me answer mountain sounds first. Yeah, so you're going to need F13 gutter grenade from Pressure Tech for oxidation removal. It's good stuff. Sometimes you come across windows. Actually, I got a job coming up the 18th. We're going to be doing oxidation removal on the window frames of a house, doing a house wash and then oxidation removal on the window frames. It's a nice job. Um, so I'll have to show you that. But yeah, so the gutter grenade is really nice to have, and you only use little bits of it. So when you make it, you like pour a little bit in a bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket, and then the same amount in water. So you have like this much mix at the bottom of the bucket. Then you just dip your brush in it, scrub it on the gutter, a wet gutter. Everything's wet. Just always have that in your head. Keep everything wet, and then scrub it on there. Let it sit. Well, you apply it. I usually just apply it while I'm scrubbing, and then let it sit for a second. Scrub it again, rinse it off. Actually, I should do like an oxidation removal video, exactly how I do it. It's just tough, man. It's tough right now to do these videos, on the job and stuff, because like I'm really underemployed and we're just kind of like busting our ass trying to get stuff done really quick, and it's a hassle to like tell my guy to stop to videotape me while I do something really slow and descriptive when I could have just done it really fast and he could have still been working. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man. So Steve, graffiti removal, that's a whole nother thing. Um, I haven't had to do graffiti removal, but yeah, there's graffiti removal chemicals. You're really gonna have to just draw a line eventually. And I mean, it's not really draw a line, but maybe buy the chemicals that you're interested in, that for whatever reason they strike you as interesting and you'd like to, you could see yourself making money with it. um, Graffiti removal is something I've thought about too. um, but I know when you're starting off learning, all of this stuff seems so cool and you just want to learn all of it, and you see these people doing all these things and you're like, I need to know how to do all these things. I need to sound as professional and knowledgeable as possible, and I need to know how to do all this or else people will think I'm a joke. I don't know how to do graffiti removal. I don't really know how to clean wood decks. Um, and I'm not an expert in like brick cleaning or anything like that. So what I'm focusing on is what I did focus on was becoming an expert in house washing. I am so confident when it comes to washing a house that there's nobody in my town that could compete with me. There's no one. There's a power washing company that just popped up, and I actually went to talk to him because that's kind of how I just do things. I saw him pop up. I called him. I asked if he wanted to talk and see if we could do anything for each other, like subcontract out work. I didn't really have that. I didn't really plan on doing that, but I just wanted to talk to him and see where he was at. He didn't know what he was doing when he was talking about house washing. I'm just, I'm an expert in the house washing. I'm an expert in window cleaning, and I'm an expert in gutter cleaning, if that's considered an expertise. And I'm happy with that. And then I'm just gonna kind of learn. I kind of learn things as I go. So if I'm in the mood to take on a little brick cleaning or concrete cleaning, and hey, it's an opportunity to try something out. And the main thing is always being open and honest with your customers. Tell them, so try to think of an example. So say I come across, I'm doing a job and they're like, hey, we got this graffiti over here. You think you could wash that? I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really specialize in graffiti removal. I happen to have some chemicals in the truck that uh, they do remove graffiti, but I'd be willing to try it out, try it out and see how it works, but I can't make any promises. Okay, give it a shot. Or, oh, it's all right. You don't have to worry about it. But at least you're open and honest and you set the expectations. Boats have aluminum, right? So what would be needed to power wash a boat? Yeah, and again, Steve, I'm not really into fleet washing. That's a whole nother thing too. Fleet washing, there's special chemicals you can use and do a two-part wash, kind of like soft washing. And you would set the chemicals on, let it dwell, rinse it off. You'd also want a hot water power washer to be washing vehicles or boats or anything. So what should I start off with? Residential only, right? Only house washing. Um, yeah, I mean, if that's the route you want to go, I don't know if you're looking into window cleaning or anything. That seems to be a common theme is the window cleaning power washing combo for whatever reason. But there's a lot of guys that don't do the window cleaning and only power wash. Um, Me personally, I'm really into the power washing thing, and I want to get into roof cleaning, and window cleaning is just eh. I really like it, but I'm finding it hard to train people to my satisfaction. Like people don't seem to pay as much attention to detail and stuff as I do, and that's just not okay with me. I don't want these half-ass window cleanings, especially when you're going into like multi-million dollar homes and yeah. So yeah, as far as power washing, if I were you, I'd start off with house washing. It's yeah, why not, right? I heard you about trying a juice cleaner. Ever heard about it? Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about it. Hey, life is what you make it. Thanks for your time, big dog. Yeah, man, I'm lonely and bored right now. I usually got a house full of kids and my girlfriend's here, and I got two kids crammed in a little house, and everyone's running around and we're playing, and or I'm trying to work while the kid's crawling on me, and I just I don't know what to do with myself. I really don't. So this is fun. So what is the plan to make this $1 million business? That's what I'm talking about, Mike. What is the plan to make this $1 million business? What's the plan to make me $1 million or you $1 million? The plan is just keep. Do you see it possible for one day to have this business running by itself while you're in? Oh, absolutely. 100%. That's the goal, Steve. That's the goal. The goal is, and this is what I'm learning this time around, is trying to create automation and systems. And um, I don't know if you were around for my last feed. It was like another 2 hour long feed. This one, people are gonna think I'm crazy. I have two back-to-back live feeds, ridiculously long. Um, what was I just saying? I kind of spaced out for a second. Damn. Um, what I'm trying to do is automate. I'm working towards creating everything automated. So starting off, I really think it's very important to get a CRM software, which is customer relations management. Otherwise, everything just gets lost and tangled and messed up, and your personal life gets mixed with your business life, and it's a mess. So everything's automated for me as far as customer relations. I create emails and I press a button and they all go out to all my customers at once or all my prospects at once. Or I set things on a timed date. So say I send an estimate to a prospect or I send an estimate to somebody and I hear nothing back, 7 days from then there's a follow-up. And then 14 days from there's another follow-up. And then 21 days after that, there's another follow-up. And eventually there's another, and I just don't stop until they give me an answer. And it's awesome. And it's they're very polite follow-ups too. It's like, just making sure everything's all right. And I call people back and this is what it's all about though, is creating. I use the customer factor. I highly recommend it. It's $45 a month. It's a must have. If you're serious about running a business, it's a must have. Um, but don't invest into it too early. If you're not even getting jobs or anything, don't get it until you're ready to start getting work. Um, but yeah, it's I'm crushing it, dude. Like I hate to sound like a cocky, but I'm crushing it. I'm crushing it. I it's surreal, honestly. It's I just like I've had this vision, and I really see like the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. I know it's all possible. Um, because there's businesses that around me that have been in business for like 20 plus years, and they're freaking out right now. They're struggling. I can see it in their marketing attempts, or their website updates. They're the little things that are like attacking me. They're trying to attack me to like they're saying like they're the opposite of me, and it just looks so dumb. Such a so stupid. But how do you handle your taxes? Any programs you can recommend? I mean, I just use QuickBooks, man. I use QuickBooks, and then it's cool on my phone. I can just like I make all these transactions on the card, my business card, and so I swipe. You can swipe one way for personal if it was a personal transaction, and the other way if it was a business transaction, and then you can store it in a category such as supplies, fuel, marketing, insurance, whatever category you want to put it in, and then it kind of like gives you an estimation on what your taxes are going to cost. It's pretty cool. Um, $1 million Gucci mine. So eventually you will have employees doing jobs by themselves and just continue to expand to other cities and whatnot, and hiring a manager to manage those employees while you relax. Well, yeah. So I'm trying to create a system. Yeah, the goal is not I'm not trying to work the rest of my life, and it's a huge issue with entrepreneurs and business owners is it's a control issue. I'm having an issue letting go of my baby and letting these guys do stuff on their own. And the issue isn't really with them, it's with me. And it's hard work. I literally have to create an entire crash course training procedure, like training book, and create systems where they do all the stuff that I already do and I know how to do mentally. Like it's all in my head. I'm um just autopilot. I say what I say to people, and I have to put this all in writing and all in an organized, easy to read guidebook so I can train them on it realistically and like have scripts and stuff. And then I have to figure out a way where it's scripted in a sheet, you know, it's there's a lot to it. But it'll get there. It'll get there, and I'm taking massive action. And that's the other thing is I'm always doing something. So today I wrote, I think it was 40 something personal thank you letters, hand wrote, to all my customers this past month, and I'm sending them all in the mail. I should have been doing it every week, but I kind of just like got the idea in my head, and so I caught up on all my previous customers, sent them personal thank you letters thanking them for giving us a chance to present our services and creating a long-lasting partnership. That perceived value is going to go such a far way. There's no other company out there doing shit like that. Every other company is just paying for a transaction and then see you next time. Like, no, it's not cool. It's like I'm thankful. I am so thankful that these people gave me hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Thank you so much. You just put food on my family's plate, paid my rent, and helped me get that much closer to my dreams. Thank you. I genuinely love all of my customers, and I'm going to show that appreciation by handwritten thank you letters to all my customers. And I'm going to send them little gifts and shit, man. It's going to be sweet. Um, Yeah, I'm not going to expand to other cities and I mean maybe like I'll have like a little radius and stuff, but we're going to take over, man. My employees are going to be paid living wages, and that's going to be another great thing to bring up to clients when I'm charging 65% higher than my competition, and they say, "Why are you so much more expensive?" Well, ma'am, we are an extremely well put together company. All of our employees have received extensive training. They're professional, clean cut, clean criminal history, drug checked. Um, they all have families of their own. They're paid living wages. and they care about their job. It's the way we like to do business. It's not for everyone, so I don't take offense if you don't want to do work with us, but it is a good match for us, and we find our customers feel a lot more comfortable with people like this inside their home. It's easy, man. It's too easy. I got this down. Um, do I use Home Advisor or Yelp? No. I've actually considered it recently because this is how I've been having a little competition pop up in my area. I don't know if it's has to do with me or like maybe the growing community like on YouTube and stuff with power washing and window cleaning. Maybe people are just finding stuff on YouTube and they're happen to be going with it. But sometimes I don't know if this is just an ego thing, but I like to think it's because of me because there's been 20 years with no activity of power washers or window cleaners in this area. There's one dumbass window cleaner, actually two, but they do business poorly. They just clean windows and see you next time, you know? And they got like two trucks, one or two trucks, and like this is not I'm not even done with my second season and I've got two vehicles and I'd love to put both of them on the road, but I just don't have employees. So I'm doing better than them and I can see it. So I don't know if like people are seeing more activity and it's just kind of provoking the idea in their heads. But my competition is using Home Advisor and Yelp. I see a lot of them using that stuff. And I think if I could get on there and portray myself as a legitimate company, whereas, so I'm right next to my competition who doesn't even have websites, I think I think people would actually hire me over them. So I'm kind of doing it to stop my competition rather than doing it to get jobs, if that makes sense. Yeah, I can definitely see you becoming a millionaire with this. And Angela's is very good. I appreciate that, Steve. I appreciate people that believe in me. Um, yeah, man. I mean, I guess it's a personal preference as far as Angela's home advisor and that stuff. Um, I think it's I think it's bad for the industry because I think it's just a spot where a bunch of lowballers and stuff can go in there. I had a client tell me a story just recently, probably a couple weeks ago, told me a story that she hired a lady off of Home Advisor, or it was Angie's List, and she showed up at the house with a freaking car squeegee, a squeegee that you clean your car with the mop on it, and charged $50 in and out. So like I thought Home Advisor and these companies are supposed to be weeding out all these crap companies and providing these people with like legitimate companies, but it's definitely not. It's like reversed. It's like just a a big cesspool of shit companies and with a handful of like gems in there. And yeah. Also from my understanding, I think is it Angie's List or Home Advisor? One of them they do background checking and stuff. And I'll just be honest with you guys, I do have a criminal record, so it hasn't stopped me, and I'm definitely not that way anymore. When I was younger, I was pretty reckless and involved in some really reckless stuff, but that's not me anymore, and it hasn't been me for a number of years. So if they want to, if they're gonna, if Home Advisor and stuff like that hold stuff like that against you, then I get it, but it's not for me. They also charge $25 per lead. Yeah, so it's just a big desperate cesspool, and the leads are just super low ballers because like it's like it's like what type of person are you to go on those sites? Think about the customer that goes on those type of sites. They know what it is over there. They know it's just a bunch of companies out trying to outbid each other. So you're just going to get a bunch of customers that are just trying to get cheap services. That's where my head's at on it, at least. I could be understanding the stuff wrong. I don't really look into it that much. I don't even know if that's how it works 100%, but I guess what I'm trying to say is it's got to work for someone and it's got to be somewhat beneficial and somewhat do what it's supposed to do because otherwise it wouldn't be around. It wouldn't be a topic. But I just think it's a joke. Yeah, Steve. Window cleaning is very easy to start doing. Should I tell you guys my story on how I started my business? Yeah, why not? There's not any other pressing topics or questions. So, all right, I'll tell you my story. It was winter. It was winter of 20. Whoa, it was 2017. So I take that back. It hasn't even been 2 years. I guess it's just the seasons makes me think it's been 2 years. But um it was like December 2016 because my I actually got my license for the county, not license, but registered with the county February of 2017. What happened was, and I'll just start from the very point of when I started the window cleaning. So I was working at a tree service, and I enjoyed the people, I enjoyed my boss, and I wanted to start my own business. I I've had this new vision on life, and I wanted to start a tree business, but the overhead was just so ridiculous. So I started brainstorming, and I actually came across some YouTube videos. And I came across the guy Keith Kalfas. I'm sure y'all all know Keith Kalfas. And it was like how to make $1,000 a day trimming trees. So, but I ended up realizing he was window cleaning also. And I kind of watched a few videos. And I shit you not, later on that day or a few days later, actually, no, I made business cards that same day. And that's where I came up with Wally's Professional Services. I just named it after my father. He passed away when I was younger. That's just the first thing that came to my mind. So Wally's Professional Services. Um, his name was Wally. Well, we called him Wally. And I got these shit business cards made, and I went out. I bought like between 50 and $100 worth of window cleaning equipment at Lowe's, and I didn't know shit about cleaning a window. I had never cleaned a window in my life except for the YouTube videos that I had seen. And I went to this plaza, little strip mall, and I got my first three jobs, my first three attempts. I got three jobs. Boom, boom, boom. So my confidence is boom, up. It's booming. And I took like 3 hours to clean these windows because I'm like OCD and I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm just like trying to do what I saw in the videos and it's not working out like I thought it would. And I'm freaking out, but I got it done. Windows were really dirty too. And they paid me their little 15, 20 bucks or whatever. And I was on my way. And I just got crazy with it. I just was going into every single storefront that in my town that I could ever think of. And I was getting jobs. I was getting a lot of no's, but I was getting jobs. And actually, I should rewind just a little bit. I'll try not to make this long. That very first day I started, the little three plazas, one of my competitors, um, whatever his company name is, he was sitting. All coincidence. He pulled up when I was cleaning those windows, and he sat there, and I didn't even know it was him, or I didn't know of him. Um, and there was this white truck sitting like right behind me while I'm cleaning these windows, and he's sitting there for a while, and I never really thought much of it. I was just like, they must be waiting for somebody. And eventually, when I was done, I moved on to the next store. He hopped out, and he's like, "Excuse me, are you about to clean this store?" I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, you shouldn't be cleaning any of these stores. These are all my contracts." And he showed me his business card, and I was like, what? I didn't know what the hell to do. This is my first time, but I was blown away because I was like, who does this guy think he is? This isn't how it works. And he went into the stores. He went into the stores and was like making a scene during business hours. And the lady was like, I don't have time to deal with this. And then he blurted out, he was like, and he doesn't even have insurance. So you guys shouldn't have, he doesn't even have insurance. And she was like, I can't even think about this right now. I just both of you get out of here. And I was like just shocked. I was just quiet and I was just like, whoa, 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 what happened? And I went back the next day and I was like, listen, I just want to let you know I'm so sorry about how that guy reacted. I had no idea that was going to happen. I'm just trying to, make ends meet and clean some windows. She's like, oh my God, don't even apologize. I am so sorry that happened to you. I am we all were talking about him. We respect you so much more. We respect your hustle, and we think he's insane. And I want you to let you know the whole plaza has talked about it, and we all fired him, and we all want you to clean our windows. Still didn't have insurance, and actually I shouldn't say that. It might come back and bite me in the ass one day. So after I got insurance, right after that job, I um, I kept going out. Boom, all these different plazas, storefront plazas, cleaning windows. And here's another thing I want to mention. Just because you're getting no's at the time does not mean you're not making money off of this. And just because you're not making money at the time of canvassing and trying to get storefront windows doesn't mean you're not making money. Because when summer finally broke, but keep in mind this was dead of winter. I mean, I'm cold as shit. Like I'm freezing my ass off. I'm making my window cleaning solution with like the the nasty, like just pure antifreeze windshield cleaning fluid, because otherwise it'll freeze. Using no water, just windshield washer fluid and soap, and dead of winter. And I ended up getting all these commercial contracts, like little plazas, and I was getting it, man. And I had it going on. And then summer hit. And then I had my biggest residential job. It was like one of my first residential window cleaning jobs. One of them, not my first, but one of them. Um, it was $2,500 altogether. It was two monster homes on the same property. It was $2,500. And what I did is I ended up asking a family member for a loan, and I bought a water fed pole to do this job, and I paid them back right away. I only needed like, I think it was like $800 loan or something just to make the difference, because I had some money saved up. But yeah, so they helped me out with that, and I was so grateful because I wouldn't have been able to do it without it, because it was French pains. So we did that, and that job coincidentally was like a long-term client of the my competitor who freaked out with the plazas. So, but I got this residential job because I went into a storefront plaza to sell them window cleaning. They didn't want their windows clean, but he was actually the owner. He owned this little store or something. But the guy I gave the business card to, he was the owner of these two monster homes. And it's just cool, man. It's just cool how, like, if you just get out there and network and shake hands and introduce yourself, whether you're getting a no or not, just go into it with this like optimistic look, like outlook. Like, dude, like regardless of if I get a no, this might be an awesome $1,000 relationship I'm about to make. If you just go into this so positive and passionate, that's what I was looking for, was passionate. You're gonna have a good day. You're gonna have a great time. That's all there is to it. So, insurance to clean windows, seriously. Any tips for walking into a plaza and selling? So, yeah, I hope I didn't cut that story off like with no closing. So yeah, I cleaned the plaza windows all winter, and then summer hit, and then I ended up, and this is just me being dumb, I ended up losing like all of my commercial accounts, the plazas. And it's because since I was so new, I was like underbidding, and it wasn't profitable for me to be doing it, especially when I was getting these awesome residential jobs. It's like, why would I go do these little jobs when I'm getting hundreds of dollars to do residential? Like I'm actually getting paid what it's worth now. Um, but I'm actually going to be revisiting commercial storefront. I'm just going to be pricing it proper, and so we can keep consistent and have something to do over the winter. So let me see. Is there any questions I can answer? Any tips for walking the plaza and selling? What did the conversations go like? So I found just keeping it as quick as possible is the best way, unless they're just totally dead. Then yeah, stick around and conversate a little bit, I guess. Um, what I'll do is I'll have the quote ready to go before I walk into the store. on my business cards. Should I show you a business card real quick? This might be helpful if you haven't had any cards made yet. Oh, damn, I forgot I gave a big stack of them to some guy. Um, I got one. Hold on a second. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so here's the front of my card. Wally's Professional Services, Commercial Residential, clearly better window cleaning. You can steal that slogan if you guys want to. I don't care. And here's the back. And this was made with storefront quoting in mind. I don't know if you can read that or not, if it's blurry. Trying to get it to focus. Anyway, it says interior and exterior, house wash, gutters, a little box next to it so I can check it, or and then the spot to put the price. It says your personalized quote. So I check one of the boxes, either interior and exterior or exterior. It kind of depends on if I feel like doing the interior or not. So maybe I come across a storefront and the interior is just a big mess and there's a bunch of shit in the way. I'm just gonna quote them for exterior because I don't feel like messing with that shit anyway. So write up the quote on the back. Also, make sure when you get your cards made, if you're going to do it this way, that you don't gloss the whole card. Keep this side paper so you can write on it with pen or whatever if you have to. Otherwise, if you do this, you have to write it with Sharpie and then blow on it to make sure it dries. So glossy on the front's all right, but keep this backside paper. Um, so yeah, I go in with a quote, and I say, hey, I walk up to the person at the desk. Hey, my name's John. I'm the owner of Wally's Professional Services. We're a local window cleaning, power washing company. I was just kind of canvassing the area. We're looking to expand in this area. Um, expand, or we're looking to concentrate more on this area as far as commercial window cleaning goes. And I just, saw your store and it looks like you'd be a great fit. Um, I went ahead and wrote a personalized quote on the back here. I don't know if maybe I should take that back. I'll keep going with it. So I wrote a personalized quote on the back of it. If you're interested, we could do something today. Maybe if you're ready to go today. Oh, I don't know. What I was going to say before you do that, walk up and say, um, "Hey, I'm John with Wally's Professional Services. We're a window cleaning company in the area. Would you be the person to talk to about getting your windows cleaned?" That might be a good thing to do. So you're not talking to someone who is irrelevant. Um, so yeah, what else can we add to this? Man, I'm good with sales, but I don't want to say that. I'm good with sales because I did this a lot. When I first started, I sucked. Well, actually, when I first started, I got 3 jobs, and I ended up getting into a relationship with the girl, with one of the girls. Um, oh God. Um, it's not that shit ended real quick though. I'm getting off track here. Let's say Windows clean. You'd be a great fit. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, man. It's been a while since I did these. So yeah, if you want to do a window cleaning, if you want to get your windows clean, I wrote a personalized quote on here. If the manager's not in, can be like, can you just make sure this card gets to the person who would be in charge of that? Yeah, sure. And then revisit. Don't ever just take a no, even if they tell you blatantly, no, we're good, we have a window cleaner. Then if they say no, we're good, we have a window cleaner, here's an excellent rebuttal. They'll be like, okay, that's fine. Well, I understand sometimes things happen, and um, things happen, and if for whatever reason he doesn't show up or something, at least you have my information and a quote. You can always give me a call. It's a great rebuttal. Trying to think of some other things they say that you could rebuttal with. Hmm. So yeah, you can here's a personalized quote. You know what also might be a interesting box to have options for on here would either be like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. So here's the thing. Sometimes guys want to start changing the rates when they do weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Don't do all that. Charge them the same rate, whether it's monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly, and charge them more if it's over a month. If it's over a month, tell them if you want to do it more than every 2 months or something, the windows are just going to get so dirty. It's going to be harder and harder for us to clean. So we got to adjust the price according. Um, we can keep the same price as long as we do this. No, as long as we do this no more than every month, or at least every month is what I'm trying to say. So I'm a fan of these package things. I do my residential window cleaning as a package price. If you're ever interested in how my website's set up for pricing, you should totally check out my website. It's decalwindowcleaning.com. Um, you might have some good ideas on where to start with stuff on there. But when I did commercial, I kind of started doing packaging where I had like a minimum of 25. So no matter what store, no matter if it had 2 pieces of glass, it's 25 bucks, bare minimum. And then I kind of would go up from there. Um, so then like a more medium-sized store would be like 45, 50, and then another bigger store would be like 65, 70, or 75, and then even up to 100. I kind of just like broke it in portions. I would What my trick was I would figure out how much I wanted to make per pane. So say like $2 or $3 per pane, probably three. Two is really low. Um, Add up the panes, times it by the $3, and then whatever that. So say it came to um, say it came to $43. I'd just tell them it's like 40, 45 or 50. Or say it came to $56. I'd tell them it's 45 or 50, if that makes sense. And then it's almost, if that price, if you come up with some type of, I've even heard of like 33.66, and yeah, 33.66, and then what the hell, 99. I don't know, but I've heard of, it's almost, sometimes it's easier to like have a package. So say like you only do pricing, like deciding on the store size, so like small, medium, or large. Be like, so your store qualifies as a medium-sized store, and the price for a medium-sized store is 50 bucks. I've heard when you say 50, it's psychologically like less appealing than 49 or something. So maybe it'd be better to say 49 bucks. Um, but yeah, in closing, you could even say, I don't know. I'm sick of windows. I'm sick of talking about window cleaning. In closing, you can be like, I'd love to get you on the route. We're really trying to focus on this area, and yeah, I don't know, man. You got to just kind of personalize the touch to yourself. There's guys that'll do free window cleaning the first time, like, hey, like as a thank you and welcome aboard, we'll do this first cleaning for free, and we'll see you every couple weeks or every 2 weeks on Friday. you know. When you're telling them when you'll come next, set it up so we'll see you every other Friday, or we'll see you every other Thursday, and start setting a schedule and sticking to it. And this is to hold yourself accountable. Because if you just start saying we'll see you every couple weeks, you're just going to start kind of coming whenever you want. And then everything's going to get messy and you're going to kind of start putting stuff off and procrastinating. I'm telling you, it will happen. So don't think it won't. But tell them exactly what day and around what time you think you'll get there. And this will start preparing yourself for being accountable. It's really easy to lose yourself in the free time of starting a new business, of getting a business off the ground, because there's a lot of free time because you don't have the jobs coming in, and it's hard to keep yourself busy sometimes if you don't got that passion and drive. Even if you got it, it's easy to lose and become complacent. What else, guys? If I don't get any questions, I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here. I'm gonna smoke a bunch of. No, I'm just kidding. It says there's 12 guys still in here. No one's saying nothing? Did everybody leave or what? Mr. V Cash, hold fast. I totally agree. Big dog. I agree and I don't agree. I used to agree. I used to I used to not care about the storefronts at all. I just stopped caring. But there's winter you got to worry about, man. And where I'm at, winter, the down season starts in August. August goes completely dead. Not dead, but it slows down. And then it just kind of turns into gutter cleaning and just kind of some stragglers. And then before you know it, it's September, October, November, and shit hits the fan. Then Christmas, you have no money. Everyone's starving. Your kids are like shaking from hunger. There's vomit on the ground. Everybody's sick. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't get that bad. But the storefronts offer stability. Volume is hard to get. But hey, man, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So the volume, staying consistent, and showing you're consistent, because I guarantee a lot of these businesses have seen a lot of bucket bobs come through and they just don't care. You come through and they're like, oh yeah, another brave souled entrepreneur. But the thing is, those bucket bobs, they don't go on the internet and they don't research stuff like you do. That's one upper hand you have, is these bucket bobs and these little random hustlers. Chances are they're just drug addicts and they're just trying to get some extra money or something. I don't know, man. That's kind of bogus to say, but these storefronts, if you can get them at the right price and your skill is correct, so you're quick enough and you can get a dense enough area, I think they're a very good business move, because it's a consistent, reliable source of income. Um, it's almost like residential window cleaning, and this during this good season, it's like hitting the jackpot, and it's just like money's just like the bells are just going off, and like money's just coming in, and you're just like, yay, everything's so good. And then you just start failing, like you just start losing big, and then yeah. All right, so I can't think of any other question right now. Thanks for the knowledge. What months do power washers, window cleaners get the most customers? So I would say it depends on your area, of course. For me, um, March, April is lit as hell. May is pretty good. April was really kind of crazy there, and there was snow until all the way up until the last week of April. There was freaking snow on the ground. Or was that March? No, it was April. Yeah, it was just a few weeks ago because I looked at my video and I remember we were going to work and there was snow on the ground. Um, Keep up the great work. Any thoughts on purified water system for basic window cleaning? Tucker, baby. Actually, I seen that the window cleaning resource, they got that the zero filter, and that seems pretty cool. It's just a bigger filter than the Tucker, so I guess you have to fill it less. I really love my Tucker though. That Tucker is badass, and I'm always skeptical of the I'm skeptical of the Zero brand because the Zero brand is actually Window Cleaning Resources' own brand. So sometimes I feel like they promote it way harder than it actually is worth. But they've always been good to me. I got the Zero screen cleaner. That thing's badass. But it's just the Aztec screen cleaner with a Zero sticker on it. If the customer can't pay cash, do they give you a check and you cash it, or is there a system for this? Yeah, man. It's not. If they can't pay cash, yeah. So it's not often they pay cash. Um, it's awesome when they do, and sometimes, usually when they do, it's it just kind of happened in the conversation. They were like, I told them a price, and they were like, "Oh man, they're nice people, and they're just like, oh, that's a bummer. It's just a little more expensive than I was really hoping." Or they're kind of blown away by the price, and then I'll throw it in there like, I'll just be like, if you really want, I could, say it's like 500 and 542 bucks. I'd be like, if you'd like, I could do 500 cash. That's the best I can do. I don't know if that helps you out or not. Okay, we'll do 500 cash. That's awesome. But yeah, they'll give me a check, and I also have a chip reader. I use point of sale, the Square, uh, so they can swipe a card. Um, it's nice. It kind of just offers more option for the customer, but you have to. It was an awesome choice for me because I had my prices in my head on what I charged, and then I kind of tweaked them because with the card, there's a 3 point, or there's like it's almost a 3% processing fee, which sucks. But I changed my pricing, so everything kind of, all my customers all around pay 3% more, well, 5% more, whatever. So all my customers are paying for that processing fee. So it's like the ones that don't pay with a credit card, it's like extra money, if that makes sense. Um, what do you charge for a Wendy's or good restaurants per windows? So yeah, I get what you're saying, man, because there's guys out here that'll do shit like that for like 30 bucks, and I just couldn't do it. I'd try to charge someone like that like 60 bucks or something, like twice as much as my competition. 75 is what I'd like to get. But these guys out here just, the thing with storefront, this is another thing I have to learn to understand, is my eye for detail and quality is almost too much. And with storefront, it's unnecessary because there's so much activity in there and kids throwing fingers on the walls and or the windows, and the windows are dirty with, again, right after you leave, practically. I mean, they're clean, but you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of the competition and stuff that it's charging these low prices, I don't think they detail, because I'll see the windows after they whatever, after they wash after they wash the windows, I'll go in. I actually, coincidentally, you're talking about Wendy's. There's a Wendy's right down the street, and my competition does it. In his website, he says, we have long-lasting customers. We've been washing the Wendy's in DeKalb for 20 years now, but they wash the windows, and I see the quality shit. You see the water drips and streaks where they just like, did too fast. I mean, they're clean, but there's definitely, like, if you really look at it, they're not uh, perfect. So that's why they charge so cheap. Because if I was just boom, 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 wet, boom, 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 dude, I'd be out of there in 5 minutes. But I can't help myself. I like have to detail it and make it perfect, and it bites me in the ass. Just getting started pressure washing. Love your videos. Thanks for the real help. That's what I like to hear, James Duke, 1993. I feel like I'm actually offering real help. I mean, this is real life in the field. I've been there, I'm in it, and I'm just being blatantly honest with you and telling you what it is. And man, it grinds my gears. A lot of these guys, man, a lot of these guys on YouTube, it's just like this constant. Um, there's there's like these guys that do bigger income. They do big business, but all they do is provide videos with little nuggets of help, but then in the same thing, they're like wrapping in their book or something. They're trying to sell you something down the road. Or there's these like new guys that start getting some money coming in and they're just like, yeah, so I got it all figured out, man. And basically all you got to do is this, that, and the other. And my dick's really tiny, okay? And this makes me feel good, okay? So that's kind of like the scene that's going on right now, and I try to offer a little bit something different. So, do you recommend conducting business meetings at a strip club? Absolutely, 100%. How is that even a question? Dude, oh, it's Sunday. I don't drink ever, but like, I'm so bored I could use a beer or something. Or maybe I'll smoke some chronic. No, man, you don't want to hold the business meetings at a strip club, dude. That's a bad idea. I'm just keeping it real with you. I know from experience. Um, Eventually, everything turns perverted, and you're cleaning stripper glasses with tiny squeegees. The fuck did I just say? What work do you prefer to do? Like, what's my I prefer I enjoy the house washing just because I really struggled getting that figured out at first, and now it's all figured out, and it's just a breeze for me. And I feel like some mad scientist who like has figured out the secret chemical potion, and nobody can compete with me because I get house washing done super fast, and I do a better job. Like, dude, people like when you're washing a house with like this soft wash method with the bleach and stuff, like the guys that are cleaning the wrong way, like just blasting stuff off and using shit chemicals, like it's I got this bump on my head. It's it's night and day differences. Like this essay, the bleach like brightens the house. Like people love the work I do, man. They like the feedback I get, like I get people telling me like, "Oh, dude, so and so was telling me about the great job you did on their house. They could not believe the difference." Like it's not just saying, "Yeah, dude, they're so happy you power." Like they're like jaw dropping happy, and that's such a good feeling. How long does it typically take you for the average house? 2 hours. 2 hours, man. So here's a good tip. Yeah, I said I didn't say I was cleaning their windows. I was I said you end up cleaning the strippers' glasses with little tiny squeegees. Like they're wearing glasses. Now you're cleaning their glasses with little tiny squeegees. Or their mirror. You could clean stripper mirrors. You know they're all up in the mirror. Um, damn, that's actually. I bet they need their mirrors cleaned. So sorry, I got distracted. How long does it typically take you for the average house? 2 hours. And that's how I came up with my average pricing. Okay. So my average pricing for a standard house wash, my minimum is 329. So my goal is to make 160 an hour when I'm power washing. Um, and the value of nines, the psychological value, and I round it up because why would I round down? Just why would I do 319? So I do 329. It's 160 an hour, and then and that's my bare minimum for a 1 story. And then a 2 story is literally irrelevant. The 2 story might take a little bit longer, but it's all the same thing because I'm doing it all from the ground. I'm just spraying, and 2 stories are typically just taller rather than wide like a ranch. So, but it's an opportunity to make a little extra money because there's a value because a homeowner does not want to clean a 2 story house. It's way harder for them to clean a 2 story house than it is for me. So there's a perceived value. So I charge $369 for a 2 story. And this is nice because it also doesn't create a shock. Because last year, or what I see a lot of other people doing is like, or um, this 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 hack job of a guy on YouTube who does house washes for $70 as 1 story and 140 for a 2 story. So if I was to tell people with that logic, if I was to tell people 320 for a 1 story and 640 for a 2 story, they'd shit. God, that shit pisses me off. I'm sorry to be cussing, but it really pisses me off. Like, what a hack job way to price something. You're literally going to do a house wash for $70 and then you're just going to like do a 2 story for 140, and you know damn well they didn't take much difference in time. Anyway, um, where was I going with that? So yeah, it doesn't create such a shock for the homeowner. So most people have 2 story homes. So I tell them, they call, they want pricing or whatever. It's 329 for a 1 story, and then they're bracing themselves. And then it's for a 2 story, it's 369. Oh, that's not so bad, Yeah. See, I got it all figured out, big dog. Do you ever need a bomb lift, cherry picker? Does the power washer reach high areas? Yeah, so typically I should have a lift. I actually made a live feed earlier and I said something about I use a ladder every now and again, but I want to be clear. I can't remember the last time I used a ladder for house washing. It's a horrible idea to use a ladder because when you use a power washer, it's going to jolt you a little, and it's just dangerous. It's just a dangerous move. Um, so yeah, you should use a cherry picker or a not a cherry picker. What's the word? Some type of lift. I'll tell you, I did an oxidation removal house. It was a brick house. It was a 2 story, technically a 3 story, the way it was kind of laid out, and it was over $1,000 just for oxidation removal on her gutters because we had to use a lift. We rented a lift and did the oxidation removal on her gutters. But I quoted it and I was like, this lady's not going to go for it, and she went for it, and I'm like, so price what the job's worth, man, and be confident. Just be 100% confident. Figure what it's going to take to get the job done. You know how much it's going to cost, and they're trusting your expert opinion. So if you come at them a little shaky and it's you're not going to like this, but it's and I might be able to save you a couple dollars here if we do this, but don't do that. Just, well, here it is. I came up with this. It's 1,000 something dollars. The reason is this, and this. Is this something you want to proceed with? No, I can't. It's way too much money. I understand. Sorry. About how many houses have you done? Oh, geez, Steve. I don't know about that one, man. Quite a few. Quite a few. I'd say I did 20, probably 20 to 30 this past month, within the last month, for sure. This year's awesome, though. I'm so happy. Any common issues? Let's see here. I don't run into too many common issues because I'm pretty prepared, but I'm trying to think of like if I wasn't prepared, what would be some issues? So you always want to ask and make sure that there's an active and working water source, water supply. Believe it or not, I came across a house this year that had no outdoor water supply. I don't know I don't know what the deal was. And this is where I actually got a buffer tank set up. The house had no water supply. And then we revisited it, and apologized. I said I've never came across a residential house that didn't have a water supply, so I've never thought to ask, but I have since changed this in my whatever, and so we make sure we have water supply. I'll make sure to ask for water supplies. I said, what are the chances your neighbor would allow us to hook up to their water supply if maybe you threw them a few bucks or something? Um, he talked to the neighbor and they said it was okay. So we hooked up to the neighbor, but the neighbor's water supply was like not even, it was like 4 gallons a minute coming out of the house. Normally a house is like 8 gallons a minute. And I was like, I can't do this job. So got a buffer tank set up. Then I had to get a pump put in because the buffer tank wasn't drawing like it did last year. Um, and then what other issue did we come across? So the weather was cold, the water was freezing on the siding. Um, so yeah, make sure you got a water supply. Make sure you are very careful around electrical outlets. Honestly, when you start, I don't know, it might be overkill to go and tape outlets, like tape them and cover them. It might be overkill, but you can never be too safe. The chances of it happening are pretty slim, but when you're starting off, you might be using too strong of mix, or um, maybe you come across an old house and you know, do you really want to take the risk? So it might be a good idea to cover the electrical outlets. If you can't reach a peak, sometimes you got to pull out a ladder, and that's not cool. But you'll get an idea when you start quoting what your machine will be able to reach or not. Um, but you should really use a lift rather than a ladder. But honestly, who's going to get a lift for a little spot that you can't reach or something? So say a water tank holds 20 gallons. Can you use that instead of a water supply? Absolutely not. It's just kind of common math. 4 gallons a minute. So after 5 minutes, your tank would be empty. You can't wash a house in 5 minutes. So no, it's all right. It's uh it's just some questions. All right. That's because I saw a power washer truck with a huge tank. So I guess right. Yeah. The tank, no matter the size, is always a buffer tank. Um, what the deal was is he probably just had a large machine that needed that large of a buffer tank. Maybe he had an 8 gallon per minute machine and it draws so much water, that it needs that big buffer tank. Now I'll take that back though. The buffer tank, sometimes when they're really big, sometimes they have to use water because there's no active water supply. But there's if there's no water, it's very rare you're going to come across a spot with no water supply. And if you do come across a spot with no water supply, make sure you charge accordingly and double it, because you're gonna have you don't really think about how much water you're using, I guess. So you're gonna wash something, drain that tank. You have to leave, refill the tank, come back, wash something, drain the tank, leave, fill. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of time, a lot of work. Um, But what I was saying is, you're usually never going to come across a spot that doesn't have an active water supply, because legally there always has to be a fire hydrant within a certain amount of feet of homes and stuff. And most people don't know this, but you can actually rent meters and like a special hookup from the city to hook up to a fire hydrant. It's kind of, I know it sounds crazy, but it's some type of spigot the city puts on the fire hydrant, and there's a meter on it, and you actually have to pay a certain amount for the water used. So you'll have to incorporate that into your estimate also. So I purchased the Adams 2 to 3 downstream injector. So now what? Mm. So now what? Install and use my J rod. So now what? Install and use my J rod, and I'm good. I wish I wish it was that easy, man. No, I'm just kidding. It should be. It should be that good. I really think your downstream injector was the issue. I think it's just a turd of an injector. Um, make sure, make sure when you. Could I ask you what percentage your SH is? Is it 12.5, 10, 8? What's what percentage? Because this makes a huge difference. Ooh, Mr. Mountain Sounds. I think we've found your problem. No, I'm just kidding. That does make a difference though, a huge difference. Like my mix is not going to be the same as yours. You might end up having to use straight SH, and I don't know if that's even going to be as strong. Seems to be spraying a huge stream of chemical music. Yeah, your downstream injector is not working. I guarantee you. What I'm saying is, yeah, you're gonna definitely see suds and soap coming out. Like you're gonna see it. You'll know. You'll know it's coming out. So if you're ever doubting, then it's not. Especially if you got your surfactant in there. Um, what was I gonna say? What I'm saying is the 10 SH might not be. I don't know if I would follow my mix, the diluting. You can try diluting it, and maybe it'll be strong enough. I really don't think it will be though. I think you're gonna end up having to run straight SH, and uh, oh, am I losing you? And I don't think, and I don't know if that's going to be like, I'm trying to do math in my head. I can't. Sorry, but also make sure when you're doing the chemical, because I'm trying to think of like, did your downstream injector ever work, or did it just never ever? Did it just fail? Because it's always you got to always rinse out your downstream injector when you're done using it. So you'll see with the Adams injector, you can twist it shut and then twist it open. So when you're not using it, you twist it shut. And then when you're using it, twist it open. And then at the end of the day, or not the end of the day, but like the last wall of the house, that's when instead of shutting the downstream injector to rinse it, you pull the downstream injector out, drop it in a full 5-gallon bucket of water, and then rinse with the downstream injector open. So then it's pulling just clear water through and flushing all that stuff out. If you forget to do that even one time, you're gonna have to replace everything. You're gonna replace your downstream injector, you're gonna replace your hose, you're gonna replace everything. You're gonna ruin the life of all your stuff. So it's really important to rinse before you leave any job. I've seen people spraying. It seems like it's never worked like it should. Very little chemical withdrawal out of the bucket. Yeah, man, I'm pretty confident it was your downstream injector. Is your downstream injector built into the pump, or is it removable? It's midnight. It's midnight by me. I gotta go probably after this. That's so funny. I like wanted to hop on here and make a point about you not using Dawn in your solution, and I was like, I'm just gonna say that, and I'm gonna get off. And then I was like, you guys all hop back on, and I was like, hell yeah. I didn't think everyone was gonna hop back on, so that's awesome. I appreciate all my subscribers. You guys are cool. We're growing pretty fast. It was really slow there for a minute, and now it's like I gained like 50 subscribers in like a day or two. I don't know how that happened. Uh, yeah, you're not saying nothing else, Mr. Sounds, Mountain Sounds. Steve, if you're still on, it was great talking to you, buddy. Appreciate all the questions. Mr. Cash, hold fast. It was fun. James Duke, 1993. Thanks for joining. Um, who else? Expert Power Wash. Thank you for the positive feedback. I hope I hope my Tucker advice helped you out. Life is what we make it. Thank you. Thank you. It's on the other side of my valve, but it can be removed. It's just a small tit really with a hole. Yeah, so it can't be removed actually. I mean, I take that back. You could remove it, but you'll see. You'll see. You'll see when you try to install it. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll remove it, and then your downstream injector won't be able to screw in. So you'll notice you'll have to leave that downstream injector in, which is fine, and screw the downstream injector on like right after it. I might go live and show you tomorrow or something. So yeah, buddy, I think you're gonna be all right. I'm confident it's your downstream injector because what else could it be? We've you've already crossed. Your power washer's working all right. You got the right mix. You got your gun, your wand, everything. You're good. Just the downstream. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm here for. We're all in this together, guys. I'm just like a season ahead of you. You guys will all be like way more confident and cool, calm, and collected next season. But then I'll still be one ahead of you. So then maybe I can still offer value for you, because I'll be a season ahead. No, man, we all got something to learn from each other. So it was fun. I'm out. Good night. Probably gonna watch some TV and whatever. Peace.